Travis was at a music festival when he noticed something he had never seen before. A Labrador wearing clothes like a person would, yet that wasn't what made him look twice. No, the Labrador wasn't just dressed, as he had seen owners do that to their dogs more often than not, but it was the fact that the animal was walking on two legs among the crowd. However, when Travis made the split decision to follow the dog to see what was going on, he could never have anticipated this was what he would find. Travis was just casually enjoying the music festival that he had been looking forward to for quite some time. The moment he had acquired his ticket, he had been over the moon, taking one of his closest friends and girlfriend to come and join him. He had just been getting a drink when he saw it, sitting on his hind legs in the grass. Holding the beers in his hand, his eyes widened when he looked at the clothed Labrador. He had seen animals in clothes before, but this was sitting on his ass instead of just lying at the foot of his owner. To him, it was behaving remarkably human-like. However, he could have just shaken it off at a strange trick, that was, until the dog did something he had never seen before. The dog seemed to look around and suddenly stood up. Its frontal paws dangled in the air as the animal started walking. Travis nearly dropped the beers in his hands at the sight of it. He shook his head, trying to wake himself from his stupor. Was this a prank of some sort? This couldn't be a dog, could it? Maybe it was a costume, but whatever it was, Travis knew he had to find out what. Travis first smelled the beer he was drinking. Had he been drugged? Was he imagining things? His breathing suddenly started to become more shallow at the thought of it, but he then noticed other people looking as well. This could only mean that they were seeing whatever he was seeing too. It relieved him, but it still didn't answer the question of whatever it could be. People cleared the way so that the dog could walk. A look of incredulity on their faces as the dog made its way, almost seemingly determined in where it wanted to go. Travis decided to follow the animal, intrigued in wanting to know more. It was then that his gaze diverted, seeing something, or rather someone in the crowd. He saw Mike and his girlfriend Jessica standing in the crowd. Keeping one eye on the animal, he quickly made his way over to them. They were so immersed in the music that they didn't even notice the animal walking on its hind legs. Luckily, the animal wasn't as quick as a typical person, ensuring that Travis wouldn't lose sight of it. However, he had to make a quick stop. He tapped Jessica on her shoulder, and she opened her eyes at the sudden touch. Seeing Travis, her lips immediately turned into a smile as she was happy to see him. She nudged Mike to look as well, who didn't smile at Travis, but did at the beer in his hands. "About time," he said, partially slurring his words. "You were taking your time, man." Travis rolled his eyes at this. "Here you go, you drunkard," Travis said, shoving a plastic cup of beer toward his friend in a playful manner. He then turned to Jessica, whose eyes seemed a lot clearer than his friend, and maybe even his. "Jess, I need to know if I'm crazy or not. Can you look over there?" he said, pointing at the dog, and as he did so, Jessica's eyes widened as her jaw dropped. "What the actual fuck?" she exclaimed, shocked by the walking dog as much as he had been when he first saw it. "Is it someone in a costume or something?" "I didn't know children were allowed," she murmured, and Travis shook his head. "They aren't, Jess." Travis shook his head as he handed his drink over to her. "Can you hold on to this for me? I have to find out what is actually going on." Though Travis knew he was faster, he couldn't linger with his friends for too long. Before he could run off, he was stopped by an arm. "Please be careful, babe. It smells iffy," she said cautiously. Understanding what she meant, Travis nodded. He knew something was wrong, but he never could have imagined what kind of miracle it actually was. Travis nods at Jessica, signaling his determination to uncover the truth behind the peculiar dog. He slips through the crowd, moving faster now, his gaze fixed on the dog ahead. Music and voices become a distant murmur as he navigates past festival goers who seem oblivious to his urgent mission. The dog continues its strange walk, unaware of the intrigue it has sparked in Travis. Pushing through the vibrant crowd, Travis's focus sharpens, the festival's noise fading into the background. He darts between groups of dancing people, keeping his eyes on the dog. As the distance between them shortens, Travis's steps quicken. The dog, still in its bizarre human-like gait, moves steadily through the throng, drawing Travis deeper into the heart of the festival. He maneuvers through the bustling attendees, eyes locked on the dog that seems almost human. The animal's peculiar behavior is more apparent up close, its movements deliberate and unnervingly person-like. Travis dodges a couple swaying to the music, his focus unwavering. The dog's path seems intentional, leading Travis past food stalls and stages, deeper into the festival. Travis's pursuit becomes a solitary mission amidst the festival's chaos, drawing closer to the mysterious dog. He weaves through clumps of people, the sound of his footsteps lost in the festival's din. The dog's oddity becomes a beacon that pulls him forward, through lights and shadows, between realms of celebration and the unknown. Travis feels the gap closing, his curiosity growing with each step. Finally, navigating the last of the onlookers, Travis finds himself just feet away from the dog, anticipation mounting. The crowd thins as he approaches, granting him a clear view of the dog's back. He sees the fabric of its clothes, the unusual stride on two legs. Travis reaches out, about to touch the dog, when suddenly it turns around, revealing not just a dog, but something more. The sight of these whimsically dressed dogs against the music festival's backdrop is startlingly jarring. Travis steps closer, his eyes scanning the crowd of oddly attired canines. The vibrancy of their costumes clashes with the natural festival ambience, creating a spectacle that attracts onlookers. Despite the festivity, Travis can't shake off a growing sense of unease as he watches the dogs navigate the crowd. Travis observes the dog he followed, noticing its front paws hang unnaturally, sparking his concern. He moves closer, observing the way the dog seems to struggle with its balance. This dog, like the others, is dressed in elaborate attire, but it's the discomfort in its movements that catches Travis's attention. He wonders why someone would make a dog walk in such an unnatural manner. The gathering of similarly dressed dogs, ranging from whimsical to bizarre, piques Travis's curiosity further. He notices more dogs, each with their unique costume, forming a peculiar assembly. As he walks among them, Travis sees the variety of outfits, from fairy wings to superhero capes. This odd congregation seems to be more than just a quirky sideshow at the festival. Travis is concerned and intrigued by the unnatural movements and the odd scene of costumed dogs. He takes a moment to observe them closely, noticing signs of discomfort among some of the dogs. Their actions don't seem entirely voluntary, as if they're being coaxed or forced into performing. Travis's intrigue deepens into concern, pondering the reason behind this unusual display. Travis's curiosity turns to worry upon noticing signs of distress and potential mistreatment among the dogs. Some appear to pant heavily, others whimper softly. He realizes that this situation might be more serious than a mere performance. The playful atmosphere of the festival contrasts sharply with his growing apprehension. Determined, Travis decides he must uncover the truth behind this unsettling spectacle. The colourful makeup and constrained outfits on the dogs seem potentially harmful, raising alarms. Travis walks around, noticing the tightness of some costumes and the discomfort it might cause. The vibrant colours of their makeup don't seem to match their weary expressions. This observation cements his worry that these adornments, meant for show, could be causing harm to the animal's dot crop. Despite his growing concern, Travis decides to give the benefit of the doubt to the situation. He watches as one dog is led onto a small stage, its outfit glittering under the festival lights. Hoping there's a reasonable explanation, Travis tries to stay optimistic. However, his gut feeling tells him something isn't right, and he can't ignore the signs of discomfort in the dog's eyes. His initial intrigue now overshadowed by concern for the dog's well-being, Travis observes carefully. He notes their movements, the way some dogs hesitate before performing tricks or walking in their outfits. Travis can't help but feel a sense of responsibility to ensure their safety. The joy of the festival fades into the background as he focuses on the well-being of these dressed-up dogs. The festive atmosphere contrasts sharply with his concern for the animals, prompting a deeper investigation. Travis moves through the crowd, his eyes scanning for any officials or organisers who might explain the situation. The laughter and music around him now feel distant, as his concern for the dogs becomes the only thing he can focus on. The stark difference between the celebration and his worry is palpable. Deciding to delve deeper, Travis inspects the dogs, uncovering distressing signs of neglect. He notices a few dogs with mats in their fur, others with minor injuries likely from their constrained movements. As he examines them, Travis's worry grows. He realizes that this issue goes beyond unusual costumes or performances. It's a matter of neglect and potential harm to these animals. Among the dressed-up dogs, he notices one severely underfed and others with skin irritations. Travis kneels down to get a closer look, his heart sinking at the sight. The underfed dog's ribs are visible beneath its costume, and nearby, another dog scratches at red, irritated patches on its skin. This confirms Travis's fears that the situation is far worse than he initially thought. Travis's investigation reveals concerning details, pointing towards the mistreatment of these animals. He sees water bowls nearly empty and shelters inadequate for rest. As he observes the dogs, some cower away, showing signs of fear. This evidence of neglect and possible abuse compels Travis to take action. He can't stand by and watch these animals suffer any longer. His concern grows as he encounters dogs appearing uncomfortable and possibly harmed by their outfits. One dog tries to wriggle out of a tight vest, whimpering softly. Another has a costume that seems to chafe against its legs. These sights of discomfort further Travis's resolve. He understands that these animals are not just part of a show, but beings that are suffering. Realizing the severity, Travis decides to intervene, contemplating contacting the authorities. He pulls out his phone, scrolling through his contacts, debating his next steps. The thought of leaving the dogs in their current state is unbearable. Travis knows he has to act fast. The welfare of these animals is at stake, and he can't delay his decision any longer. Torn between the police and animal control, Travis ultimately decides the police are best suited for this. He dials the number, his fingers trembling slightly. As he waits for the call to connect, he takes one last look around, memorizing the details of the scene before him. He knows this call could change everything, and he's prepared to do whatever it takes to help these dogs. Finding a quieter spot, Travis takes out his phone, prepared to report the suspected animal abuse. He looks around, ensuring he's away from the noise, and then focuses on his phone screen. His fingers hover over the keypad as he prepares to make a call that he hopes will change the fate of the dogs he's just discovered. His concern for the dogs solidifies into action as he dials the police, reporting the situation. Travis explains the urgency, his voice steady but firm, detailing what he's seen. He mentions the number of dogs, their conditions, and his concerns about their welfare. His call is a plea for help, hoping to bring relief to the animals suffering in silence. On the phone, Travis urgently reports the potential mistreatment of animals at the festival to the police. He describes the scene, the dogs' conditions, and the urgency required. Travis's voice carries a mix of concern and determination, hoping his words will prompt a quick response. He knows the well-being of these dogs might depend on the actions taken in the next few moments. The police respond promptly to Travis's call, promising quick action and arrival at the festival. Relief washes over Travis as he hears the assurance in the officer's voice. The promise of help coming brings a flicker of hope that the situation can be resolved and that the dogs can be given the care they desperately need. Waiting anxiously, Travis hopes his call leads to immediate assistance for the distressed dogs. He looks around, noting the festival's ongoing cheer, a stark contrast to the urgency of his concern. Travis stands watchful, eyes scanning the entrance, waiting for any sign of the police. His mind races with possibilities, but he remains hopeful that help is on the way. The police's arrival at the festival causes a noticeable shift, turning the atmosphere from festive to tense. Festival goers pause, their attention drawn to the uniformed officers making their way through the crowd. The music continues to play, but its energy seems dampened as eyes follow the police, curious and concerned about the sudden change in the festival's mood. Officers begin approaching the dog owners, signaling the start of an investigation into Travis's concerns. They ask questions and jot down notes, their demeanor professional but firm. The dog owners react with a mix of surprise and anxiety, exchanging glances and whispering among themselves. The sight of officers investigating reassures Travis, confirming his decision to report was right. Amidst the commotion, Jessica and Mike find Travis, offering support after noticing his distressed state. Their presence is a comforting reminder that Travis isn't alone in this situation. He briefly explains what has been happening, and they listen intently, their expressions a mix of shock and support. Together, they stand, forming a small, united front amid the unfolding events. Travis explains the situation to them, grateful for their presence and backing as the police take action. With each detail, Jessica and Mike's concern grows, their support unwavering. They nod in agreement with Travis's actions, offering words of encouragement. The solidarity from his friends strengthens Travis, their shared concern for the dog's welfare bonding them even more. Together, they watch as police separate the dog owners for questioning, reinforcing Travis's decision to call. The seriousness of the situation is now undeniable, with officers diligently working to uncover the truth. Travis, Jessica and Mike remain close, observing the proceedings with a hopeful anticipation that justice will be served for the dogs. The sight of action being taken brings a somber satisfaction, knowing that help is finally here. Jessica and Mike's support provides Travis with a sense of solidarity in his concern for the dogs. Standing together, they watch the ongoing police investigation, feeling a communal hope for a positive outcome. Their united front against the mistreatment of the dogs strengthens Travis, making him feel less isolated in his fight for justice. The police action attracts attention, leading to mixed reactions and whispers among the festival goers. Some stop their celebrations to watch, while others try to ignore the situation and continue enjoying the festival. The sight of officers moving through the crowd, talking to dog owners, and inspecting the dogs makes the situation impossible to overlook, drawing more eyes to the unfolding event. Travis, shaken yet resolute, finds himself explaining the situation to curious onlookers. As people gather around, asking questions and seeking information, Travis shares what he observed and why he felt compelled to act. His account spreads through the crowd, causing a ripple of reactions that vary from concern to skepticism about the necessity of his intervention. Reactions vary, with some praising Travis's vigilance while others question the necessity of police intervention. Among the festival goers, debates start to form about the balance between enjoyment and ethical responsibility. Some commend Travis for his courage, while others argue for the rights of the dog owners, creating a divided atmosphere that reflects the complexity of the situation. The unfolding drama dampens the festival's previously joyous mood, introducing a sense of uncertainty. The lively music and laughter now compete with serious discussions and concerned whispers. Festival goers glance between the police and the stage, torn between continuing their celebration and acknowledging the gravity of the situation. The festival, once a place of unabashed joy, now hosts a more reflective and somber tone. Despite the skepticism from some, Travis stands by his decision, aware of the gravity of his actions. He watches the ongoing police interviews, feeling a mixture of apprehension and certainty. Travis knows the welfare of the dogs is paramount, and while doubts linger in the air, he remains convinced that bringing attention to their plight was the right thing to do. Some festival goers suggest Travis should have approached the dog owners first, hinting at a misunderstanding. They argue that direct communication could have resolved the issue without involving the authorities. Travis listens to these suggestions, contemplating the different angles of the situation. The feedback introduces a new perspective, making him ponder the various ways he could have addressed his concerns. police interview the dog owners, aiming to uncover the truth behind the animal's care and appearances. The officers ask detailed questions, seeking to understand the relationship between the owners and their dogs. As the interviews progress, the police take notes, their expressions neutral, highlighting their focus on gathering facts rather than passing immediate judgment. The owners explain the dogs are emotional support animals, which allowed them entrance to the festival. This revelation sheds new light on the situation, complicating the initial perception of mistreatment. The owners share stories of the dogs' roles in their lives, emphasizing the care and affection they provide. This information adds depth to the investigation, illustrating the nuanced bond between the owners and their canine companions. Travis listens to the ongoing explanations, feeling the complexity of the situation he instigated. The unfolding discussions reveal layers to the story Travis hadn't considered. He reflects on the diverse reasons people might have for bringing their dogs to such an event, recognizing the situation is not as straightforward as he initially thought. This realization prompts Travis to consider the broader implications of his actions. Dog owners express confusion and distress, insisting they care deeply for their pets. They speak passionately about their relationships with their dogs, emphasizing the love and attention they provide. The owners' responses highlight a strong defensive stance against the accusations, showcasing their commitment to their pets' well-being amidst the growing scrutiny. Police document statements and start to scrutinize the dogs for any signs of neglect or mistreatment. They carefully examine each dog, checking for signs of poor health or discomfort. The thoroughness of their inspection aims to ensure that no aspect of the animal's care is overlooked, reflecting the seriousness with which they are approaching the investigation. Owners argue for their pet's well-being, complicating the narrative Travis had initially perceived. They provide detailed accounts of their care routines, including dietary plans and exercise regimens. This information presents a more complex picture of the situation, challenging the initial impressions of neglect and prompting a re-evaluation of the circumstances surrounding the dog's presence at the festival. Owners clarify the situation, explaining breed-specific traits and the use of safe products on the dogs. They discuss the natural characteristics of their pets' breeds, which might have led to misconceptions about their health and care. Additionally, they detail the pet-safe products used for grooming and dressing the dogs, aiming to dispel any concerns about harmful treatments. The supposed malnourishment and makeup are addressed, revealing misunderstandings about the dog's care. Owners explain the dietary needs specific to their dog's breeds and health conditions, which may account for their lean appearance. Furthermore, they clarify that any makeup used was non-toxic and intended for animals, ensuring no harm to the dogs. These explanations provide critical context to the visual impressions that had initially raised concerns. Travis learns the dog he followed was adapting post-accident, choosing not to use a provided wheelchair. This information strikes Travis, showcasing the resilience of the animal and the care of its owner. He watches the dog move with a sense of admiration, understanding the strength it takes for both pet and owner to adjust to such significant changes. The detailed explanations from the owners shed new light on the situation. Realization dawns on Travis as he understands the complexities behind the dog's appearances and behaviors. He recognizes that his initial judgment was based on incomplete information, leading him to reassess his perspective on the situation and the assumptions he had made about the care the dogs were receiving. Travis approaches the dog owners to offer a heartfelt apology, acknowledging his misinterpretation. He meets them with sincerity, expressing his regret for any distress his actions may have caused. The owners listen, their responses varying, but many appreciate his willingness to admit his mistake and seek understanding. This moment of humility and reconciliation marks a turning point in Travis's journey. He expresses relief upon learning the dogs are well cared for and discusses his intentions and misconceptions. Travis shares his initial concerns and how the unfolding events led to his enlightenment. The conversation becomes a bridge for mutual understanding as the owners share more about their pets' needs and Travis explains his drive to ensure their well-being. It's a dialogue of learning and empathy, enriching both sides. This experience leaves Travis reflecting on the importance of seeking the full story before drawing conclusions. He realizes the value of communication and understanding, lessons he vows to carry forward. As the festival continues around them, the atmosphere lightens, with Travis feeling a renewed sense of community and responsibility. He pledges to remain an advocate for animals, now equipped with a deeper appreciation for the complexities of their care.